Do-do-do-do.
Yeah, I think
We're there. I just got to mute this one. There we go. Here we are.
yay!
Live. Woohoo.
Ah, you did it.
Okay. I know I did it. I'm getting good at this stuff, right? And it's so
Yes.
funny. I have a standing client right before this, and she's like, "Hey, if you have Woohoo Wednesday, you better let you go." So cute. It's like
That's so
awesome.
cute.
Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone. I am Samantha Buckley-Hugessen, Master Life Coach for Women in Business and your host of the Women in Business Network and Community. It is Woohoo Wednesday here in the Women in Business Network and Community. This group is all about networking and connecting, and sometimes just being in a safe place to ask and to be with other women in business who are going through the stuff of life. So today we are spotlighting my fellow business women in business sister, my amiga. She's here to lead, inspire, teach, and grow you. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my girlfriend, Elaine. And let me tell you about Elaine. Hi, yes, say hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I'm a big
Right?
Samantha fan.
Oh, yeah, ditto, ditto. I'm sitting there thinking about, I haven't even introduced you yet, but I will. But everybody listen. I sit there and think about how friggin' cool my girlfriends are. Because I've had this opportunity to do these woohoo spotlights. And like, I'm going, oh my God, my girlfriends are so cool. You know?
And it's
So,
such a fun name, too, by the way. Like,
woohoo!
oh my God.
All right. Well, let me tell you about Elaine. She is a video performance coach, speaker, author, and a comedian who has over a decade of experience working with entrepreneurs to build confidence and a captivating presence on camera so that you can get your message out to the world with authenticity, ease, one of my favorite words, and of course, humor. Some of her credits include, listen to this, Saturday Night Live. Yes, America's Got Talent, HBO, TV networks, the New York Times, and the Huffington Post. Her clients have gone from never doing any video or speaking lives to having their own YouTube channels, doing international book tours, and speaking for NASA. Her specialty is getting her clients to own their authority while also sharing their humanity authentically and with humor. It's like you've been teaching me my whole life, because that just speaks to who I want to show up as. That's so awesome, sister. So thanks for making time for me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure and honor. And I was doing a quick live to invite some people to come play, but so is this only in your group or is this other places?
It's only in my group, but then I'll put it on YouTube later.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one of the things I love about Samantha, we were in, during COVID, I met her on Zoom during COVID and we were in something and I spoke a goal and she wrote it down. And then when I met Samantha, like a year and a half later, she was like, I have your goal. And I was so moved by that. The kindness, the intentionality, the organization, and that just speaks volumes to me about who you are. And and clearly people love you and they're already in this amazing group. And so so that was one reason I was like, I have to know this woman. And then I got to hang out with you a little bit more and I can't wait to continue our relationship. And yeah.
Well, ladies, when you get a vibe on somebody, you're just like, oh, there's just certain people that, first of all, I'm never around people where it's, you know what I mean?
Right.
I move to the other side of the room. If I'm feeling a yucky vibe, I'm out. But then there's certain vibes where you just get a charge. You go, I want to be in that person's energy, or I want to give to that person, or I just want, and that's what I felt about you. That's why I remembered that goal of yours, and I wanted to remind you. It's like I heard you. I was listening to what you said, and let me give it back to you. And that's just kind of the coach in me too, I think,
Right.
because I want to remind you of what you set for yourself, your intention for you,
Mm,
right? Honor you, right?
yeah. Thank you.
So tell all the ladies here. I'm going to ask you weird questions. Cool.
Okay. I love weird
Okay.
questions.
So so here's the thing. I get the impression because a lot of the women in here are not coaches. They're not, walking on stage. They're not doing all that stuff. Some are. Don't get me wrong. Um, but some of them are accountants. Some of them are run, retail stores. Some of them own whatever.
Right.
How would them being able to show up in reels and show up, out on the platforms like that help them? Because they're probably thinking, well, I'm a bookkeeper. I don't need to do that.
Right. Well, and that's a great question. And I think for a lot of us, if we knew how hard certain things were going to be, we would be like, thank you very much. Like being a business owner, you don't realize how many hats you get to wear, and you can study it all you want, but
Hmm,
until you're in the trenches daily, you don't realize. And so most people don't say, hey, I want to have my own studio and I want to become a speaker. You're like, I'm just trying to run my business. And
right.
so one of the things I always encourage people, because if you go, hey, I'm Mary and I can do your books, it's like repelling, right? But if you lean in and say, hey, I want to tell you a quick story about one of my clients. When we first started working together, she had all this trauma around her books and money, and she felt like she wasn't good at math. She was totally disempowered, and one of the things I work on with my clients is to help them understand, not that they need to keep doing it, but so we worked on some stuff. Now she's totally empowered with her books. I still do it, but she has completely altered her relationship with money, finances, blah, 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 blah. Now
It's
that's
the
like,
story.
and right. And so you're telling the story of your client, but you're also showing people what you do, but
Right.
you're bragging about your client. And so that's one of the reasons I love teaching story and teaching, because I think a lot of times people feel like I have to sell my credibility, and it's so repelling, right? So it's like, how can you be authentic and still own your authority? And
Yeah.
especially in my experience of women, a lot of times we were conditioned to be quiet, shh, sit back. Who do you think you are? If you grew up in an alcoholic family, I mean, a lot of us did, right? Like,
We've
and
had
so,
this conversation.
yeah, like, so it can feel very scary to kind of let your light shine or own your expertness. And it's like, how do we do it without feeling like braggy and gross? And so I always talk about like, I love tell the stories of your clients and make them the heroes and make the work the heroes. You get to be the messenger, the guide on the side who's going, you can do it, you can do it, and so I think that helps people show up as themselves, because
Mhm.
the minute you think, oh, I'm going to be in front of people, our perfectionism goes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have to be perfect. I have to be perfect. I have to, show my credibility. I mean, when I first started doing lives, I was like, hi, everybody. I'm Elaine. Like, I was totally not being congruent. And I realized I was afraid that my comic friends were going to make fun of me. So I was kind of like, hi, I'm trying to be a life coach now.
It
Like,
was a judgment-y thing you were afraid of.
I was afraid of being bullied by my friend. Like, it's so, looking back,
You
we
didn't
have
want to be a part of the material.
yeah. And, it's so, but we all have that voice, right? I mean, I always
Yes.
talk about like, there's the bullies in the cyber world or whatever, but usually the worst bully is right here,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. The peanut gallery is the loudest in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So cool. So what I was hearing from you is okay. So I'm going to put my own spin on this. Fair enough.
Oh,
So all of us in this group are in sales. And a
right.
lot of people say, oh, I'm not in sales. Yes, you are. If you want to do an exchange of a service for money, you are in sales.
Yeah.
My dentist is in sales, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's okay. But here's the cool words that you and I share that we love is the authenticity, the clarity and being of service and
Right.
not being all skanky and gross and pushy and braggadocious, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I want to dial in these points because ladies, if you're thinking I want to build my business, but I'm not good in sales or whatever, Elaine's actually giving you the steps to do that. One is that it's not about you. It's about your clients. So the first thing she said is, I'm going to tell a third party story. I'm going to tell a story about one of my clients. And then somebody's going to go, oh, I identify with that. That was me. And then how you solve the problem for the
Right.
client or how the problem got solved with your service. And I love using the
Right.
words of service got solved, right? So now it's all good. And they're like going, phew, I'm not the only person that's got money paradigms in my bookkeeping or
Right.
or what have you, right? And
Right.
then it's kind of like I bet you run into this and you tell me if you do. It's kind of like I've been coaching on videos for more than a decade. I use Skype. And then when
Yep.
FaceTime came out, I could use that sometimes because I designed my business that I could do it from anywhere. That was the
Yep.
whole thing.
Yep. Yep.
So I know that during lockdown, COVID or whatever, they woke up to Zoom, but I've been doing it
Right.
forever. And
Me
it's
too. I've
funny.
been on Zoom forever
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Skype.
yeah. And
Yeah. Yeah.
Skype and all that. And so it's funny because people would say, oh, I need to see you in person. No, you don't. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to charge you more if you're going to come in and sit in my office because the
Sure.
turnaround time and all that kind of good stuff. So if you
Right.
really
Right.
think
Right.
you need to see me in person, people say, I don't like to see myself in camera. Well, then don't look.
Yeah. You can hide
I
your
I,
view.
I
You
don't know
can
what
hide your view.
exactly, right? So just show up and in this mode of being able to speak live, which you also train people to do, right? On
Right.
stage and things like that, or to do reels for your marketing, or
Right.
yes, every single person in every single business can show up on video and be giving a gift and acquiring business.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would love, can I just add on to your
No, you
beautiful
can't add
information?
anything. It's all
That's
about
it.
me.
Okay. Bye. No, just kidding.
Go ahead. Yeah, go.
So like I what I find, and I get it, I've been performing my whole life. And I still have days where I feel like my tongue is twisted, my hair, I have that inner voice and it gets loud depending on the pressure or whatever. But I think we pull all these extra whammies against ourselves.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm not good at speaking. Oh, I should be good at, I've been speaking my whole life. And it's like, you've been speaking in your life to your spouse, your kids, da, 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 da. It's very different skill set. Unless you're on like the debate team and you're a trained lawyer,
Yeah.
why would you expect yourself, like give yourself some space and compassion, right? I mean, anything that's worth doing takes a little practice in my book, right? So that's one thing. I was like don't let yourself off the hook because you got to do video and speak. If you're committed to growing your business and staying in business, it's part of the game. Social media is not going away. Zoom is not going, like you might as well like embrace it. But here you can make it fun. And I also like to think about when we first start driving cars, right? We are consciously incompetent. We're like, oh my God, I gotta
Right.
parallel park and I gotta put my signal on. We're like teenage drivers, right?
Yeah.
And then luckily we all survive. Sometimes we have to take the test 2 or 3 times for the parallel parking.
Right.
And now we drive all the time. It's mastery. We want to think about it, right?
Right.
And so, I always try to remind people that when you're working on a new skill, just like when a baby's learning to walk, we don't yell at the baby. So one of the ways to help yourself have fun is give yourself some freaking space. Give yourself permission if you've never done videos. Give yourself permission to make some bad videos. You don't have to post them, but start making videos. Get a video buddy, get somebody in this group to hold you accountable and say, I'm going to make a video Monday through Friday every day and send, even if it's like your morning routine. Get used to seeing yourself on camera. Get used to hearing your voice. And if there's something you absolutely hate, then do your hair color, whatever. But like,
Yeah.
perfection is not helping anybody and nobody can relate to it. So it's a paradox, right?
Wait, I have to grab that. Did you just hear that? Perfection. Nobody can relate to it. Because we all are imperfectly perfect,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Perfectly imperfect, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, so that I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know that you
No,
were
no,
going on to
no,
some of your cool
it's
stuff,
so
but I
great.
just like,
And I know you talk about mindset because it is everything, right? And so one of the things I invite my people to do is like, I want you to, I want you to scroll at the end of your day. If you like to scroll, if you like to go look at dog and cat videos at the end of your day and laugh, that's one of my favorite things. However, if there are some influencers on whatever platform who are like, they're so perfect, then I want you to stop following them for a minute
yeah,
because our brains will do these crazy compare despair bullshit. And we all know that that's the quickest way to steal your joy and suck your energy and your
yeah.
soul. Now, if it doesn't affect you and you can handle it, like, yeah, she's great. She's been doing it for a gazillion years, or she used to be a model or an actor or whatever, then fine. But if you find yourself comparing to people, I want you to unfollow them to free yourself up because we want freedom and nobody needs another perfect Barbie doll with a perfect house that's all made up anyway.
No,
But emotionally, we don't know that. And so, anyway, I love give yourself permission. If it's messing you up, stop for a while.
I no, you just again hit so many points. You know what I mean? Follow those that give you life, unfollow those that make you judge yourself and don't give you life, and recognize that, I mean, most of our women here, they're like leaders or
Yeah,
they're self-employed, which you said at the beginning, it's not for everybody. I'll tell you, my clients, I coach many people into becoming business owners, self-employed, things like that. And it's not for everybody. That's why I'm a coach for them, because I partner with them, right? And in the
yes.
sense of holy crap. And so you just have to kind of, you have to just show up in your imperfection. And if you've been to my vision workshops before, you've come and supported me
Yes.
in those.
Yes.
And I part of like what I tell everybody is I'm probably going to make mistakes. I'm probably going to screw
Right.
up. I'm definitely going to do it imperfectly, and I don't care. So let me just model for you what it's like to have technical difficulties, or let me model for you what it's like when I swear, or, if I
I
can't
love
find a
it.
slide.
I
Come
love it
on,
because
man.
I love it so much because they call it new level, new devil. I think Laura, our friend, calls it something else. But whenever you're stepping into your next thing, you're up leveling,
Mhm.
we're conscious, we're self-conscious. And so that's another reason I talk about make the camera your friend. And if you're scared of the camera, put a picture of your dog, your horse,
How
your
smart is that?
ex-boyfriend, like whatever's going to make you lean in, right? And I always tell people one person, one problem, one solution. Because what I find is sometimes people wing it and then they ramble. I mean, we're talking short form, really, but also lives. You want to have a plan. Doesn't mean you have to stick to everything. But instead of thinking of hello world, which is daunting, just think of that one ideal person or your best friend you're having coffee with, and they're going, so what's going on with your business? And you're like, let me tell you about this client. Or, oh my gosh, I'm doing this one thing that's made so much difference and blah, 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 blah. Right? Because our brains, if it's too much information, they go, right?
That you need to like put a pin in that. Okay, ladies, you
Yeah.
need to talk to Elaine, because you break it into such simple, like I'm a super visual person. So I was totally like thinking about the leaning in because like my babies, my children, I mean, they're
Yeah.
6'4" and 6'7" or something now.
Right.
It's like,
They're
oh,
all
I lean
tiny.
in, just, oh, I just love them so much. So that's such a great, you're giving everybody so many great tips.
Yeah.
And talking to a girlfriend or talking to your buddy or talking to whatever, what would you say? Oh my God, there's this client
Right.
and again, we started out your conversation, your interview today, talking about make it about other people, not about you,
Right.
and it's funny because
Which
Faith,
help
go ahead,
which
please.
which helps take the attention off of yourself.
Yeah.
And so, and I got that from my Meisner work. I worked professionally since I was in the second grade. I studied Meisner in Austin, and then that was one of
What
the
if
things
people
I was
don't
like,
know what Meisner is?
I'm about to tell you. So then I studied it with my master teacher who worked with Diane Keaton, and one of his people worked with Marilyn. And so it's a whole acting technique. But the one of my favorite things is you're so focused on your partner, your attention is off of yourself. Now that takes practice. And there's a whole thing that I do with my private clients. It's all about peeling away the masks. But the best point is just think about how much you love your favorite client and how much you love giving them value and helping. And that can help you drop, I call it dropping in. So there's a whole like presentation. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I'm exaggerating to make a point, right?
I love
It's
it.
it's repelling, right? But if you can, breathing is always good. I love the bubble. Can shake your hands and help you come into your body, even if you're on camera, because we want embodied speakers. We want you to come from your heart and your gut, not from I'm up here and I'm trying to remember everything and be perfect. Now, it takes practice, but that's some of the work that I do. And I'm sure you do versions of this in your work, Sam, with people of helping them come from their gut and their authority, right?
Yeah.
And we know the difference. So yeah,
Well,
yeah,
no. Yeah. So, uh, being that this is your absolute niche, like you're the expert, you're the genius in this. I remember, okay, so this is a weird thing. I never ever used to read self-help books, never read like sales books, nothing like that. I don't know what it was. And it turns out I started to read a book by Tony Robbins, and this is in the 80s or 90s.
oh wow.
Aging myself. Well, come on. I tell everybody I'm pushing 60, man. So,
And you look gorgeous. Oh my God. Woo.
right? I'm 10 years older. No, not 10 years older. I'm like what did we figure out? I'm like 3 or 4 years older than the girls were in the Golden Girls. They were in
Oh my God.
their mid to younger 50s, right? They're
I
like
love that
55,
show. So
whatever. Anyway,
fun.
yeah, right. Okay. Tony Robbins, I do remember this one thing. I think it was Wake the Giant Within or something like this
Right,
first
right.
one. And he talked about how to become this motivational speaker and be on stage, blah, blah, blah. They said it was going to take him years. And so that could be daunting. A lot of people don't want to invest in something that's going to take them years. So what he
Yeah.
did is he thought, okay, well, I'm going to expedite the process. So rather than speaking once a month, I'm going to speak twice a week. That's what you're saying. Practice, practice. We started out when we first got behind the wheel of a car, we slammed on the brakes, then we
Right.
slammed on the gas and, all that.
And we're like,
Now we drive home and we're in the driveway and we don't even remember driving because, and I'm not saying we were drinking or anything crazy like that, but we're in the driveway because we're driving on autopilot because
yeah.
we know that path so well. We're
Yes.
so practiced at it.
Yes.
And this is everything in life, ladies. Even if you're uncomfortable now, you do it enough. And it's kind of like stretching the
It's like,
balloon.
yeah. Yeah.
It's like stretching the balloon. The balloon right now, it's hard. But if I sat there and blew it up 10 or 12 times, it's going to stretch. It's going to get really easy. This is why I have these.
Right.
It's for my ears. It's a thing I have to do with my. A lot of people don't know that I wear hearing aids and that I have ear problems. So this is one of the ways I'm fixing my eustachian tubes.
Oh,
Make it
cool.
easier.
And then you have to use diaphragmatic breathing, which is also good. and challenging. Yeah. But yeah, and you know, you bring up another great point is I say it's not even about video. Like usually when I do my group program, by the second or third week, my students will go, this is transformationally late. This isn't even about video. And I'm like, it's video as the vehicle because whatever is stopping you from putting yourself out there more is stopping you in your other areas.
Boom.
And so that's one reason I absolutely, it's so much more than short form video and, you know, speak to grow your business. It's about owning why are you on the planet? Like, what was the work you came to really, really do? And what
Right.
is the story you're afraid to tell? What's the story you're not telling? Like,
Okay.
that's the one, you know? So I mean, I do a lot of short form video, but I just came back from doing some one-on-one with VIPs and I'm like, okay, I got to do a retreat. Because as much as I love Zoom, thank you God Zoom, because I'm in Dallas part-time. I have a laptop lifestyle. I've been all over the place.
Yeah.
But I do at some point I'm going to do a leadership retreat with horses because my cousin has these amazing horses. And anyway, but I just was so present to the power. I have this client and she's Indian. And this woman, her story is ridiculous. What she has been through, and I've been through some stuff,
Yeah.
she's been through even more. And so we were doing this Meisner work, and she was like roaring. And it was so cool to watch her surprise herself. And now she's like, Elaine, I just lost 5 pounds. And people are telling me I'm showing up differently. Oh, yeah. And I got booked to speak, blah, 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 from a 2-day thing that we did. And so, anyway, I'm just so in awe of the power of the work and the power that when a woman gives herself permission
Yeah.
to
To show up.
to show up fully, like from your vagina, from your gut, and tell your real fucking story.
Yeah.
Because so many of us have been through so much.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes I'm like, do you want to hear all of it? Because it's kind of heavy, you know? So obviously it depends on your audience and your marketplace and all that stuff. But like, you know, it's time. It's time. Because the more we show up, we give other women
Mission and the
the
authority.
message.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
modeling. And so I'm just so passionate, like, you know, keep going, whatever you're doing, and give yourself some space to be imperfect, but show up
Okay.
because we need you.
We need you. Oh, okay. That's one of the things that my clients, anybody that's watching this or will watch this, will raise a hand. Because I tell people you're kind of an asshole when you play small.
Yeah, you
Because there's
are.
no other person, not one. I don't care if you have a twin. There's no other person on the planet that is you, uniquely you. However you got here, if you think it's through, you know, God or vaginas or universe or whatever, you know what I
This
mean? Whatever.
works.
Well, you use the VJJ word, so I wanted to use it. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
however you got here, it was on purpose that you came in who you are this time. However that looks, and you guys can all think I'm crazy or woo woo, who cares? Then if you only have the dash, I was born in 1965 and I'm gonna, you know, whatever, you have the dash,
Right.
show up. Show
Yeah.
up. Because there's somebody on the sidelines waiting for the ripple of the rock to be
Yeah.
dropped in the pond, you know?
It's so true. And that's why I'm so grateful that we have people like you and some of our other colleagues because I'm 55 coming up on 56 and I was conditioned to um to survive my family and then working in restaurants, working my way through college
Mm-hmm.
in restaurants, I had to dim down not just my light, but my smartness. I had to dim down in order to I had to dim down, not that I had a lot of confidence, but anytime I came back from visiting my cousin with the horses, I would have a little bit more confidence and my stepmother would knock it out of me as quickly as possible. And so, And unfortunately, I just think that that story happens to
So
most
many of
women
us.
in some version of it. We've had to dim our light, not make men in charge of us feel threatened. We've had to learn how to navigate to survive. And so that's part, I know that's part of my mission is like, as I keep giving myself permission to go bigger, I know that it helps other women too.
Right.
And to be around other women who are like, yes, yes, turn it up, you
Yeah.
know?
Let's
It's
go. We
so
got this.
exciting to be a woman in business in 2024. Like,
It,
oh my gosh,
I
right?
say it every Wednesday. It's like been, everybody agrees. This is definitely the year of the women and
Yeah.
community, and women and community, period,
Yes.
um,
Yes, because
supporting
we
each
used to be
other's.
pitted, we used to be pitted against each other unconsciously, whatever, does, so yeah, it's so exciting. And I just came from like a mastermind, and it was so powerful. I'm still so lit up. And I was telling one of my clients, I can see why they used to go on the witch hunts, because when women came together, it was so powerful. It scared it scared the patriarchy.
Right. Right. No, isn't
Because
that
when
a
women
great
come together and
observation?
support each other and lift each other up, it's like,
Yeah.
whoa.
It's unstoppable. I mean, it's unbelievable. Well, and I don't know that you've heard this from me or whatever, but I didn't like women growing up because my biggest issue
Yeah,
is I had mommy issues, right?
right.
And so,
Rightly so, from what I know your story.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And so they were scary. Women were scary. Yeah, I hung out with the
we're
dudes
stupid.
for the
I hung out
longest
with the
time.
dudes too,
Yeah,
right? And anyway, long and short of it, I actually had to learn
me too.
trust and like women.
Me too.
And so it's just like creating this network. I think there's, I don't know, 600 or 700 people in this network.
Wow.
And and I'm so grateful for that. I think it's like our year anniversary. I think I just started it last February.
Wow,
Anyway,
that's amazing.
but it's all about, and I don't know that everybody gets this. So if you ladies aren't getting this, the idea of us being here together in a safe place is because we have two things in common. One, we're somehow trying to navigate this at the top of something, the top of our department, the top of our business, the top of our household. Like we're in charge up here.
Right,
And we also have life.
right.
We have illnesses, or we have children, or we have,
Aging parents. Holy cow.
hello,
Holy cow.
the sandwich,
Sandwich.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or, relationship issues or whatever it is. So the design here was always to be, somebody in this group has navigated this before you, got you, or whatever, you know what I mean? And I have this luxury, as do you, because you have clients. I have this luxury that I get to get very personal with a lot of people. And so for me, I'm kind of like, okay, you're not the only one, right? You know that that's a
Right,
common thread, right?
right.
Because we tend to think I'm the odd man out. I'm the
Right.
weirdo. Don't judge me for this. Are you fucking kidding me? I talked to, 12 people this week and 10 of them feel exactly the same way.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Samantha, I love that. And I'll just, to use, so I'm coming up on 24 years sobriety. And so, there's a lot of shame around addiction, family trauma, all this
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And being in the program for a long time, you see people come in and they're like, oh, I drank in the mornings. And we're like, yeah, we all did. Okay,
Right?
what else you got?
Yeah.
Like not that it's okay, but just like
No, it's
it
like,
helps them release their shame.
you're
You
not
were,
surprising me. Yeah.
most people come from some kind of trauma, dysfunction, whatever. You didn't have any tools. You were doing the best you can. And somehow, by the grace of God, you got to an AA meeting and now you're in some form of recovery. So let's get rid of this shame,
Yeah.
because no offense, but your story, I was lost in Vegas for 24 hours. And just like knowing, I think as human beings, when we get confronted or afraid, we go in, I'm the only one, I'm the
Yes.
weirdo, nobody else has tech issues or whatever,
Right.
or problems with men. I'm dating in my 50s. It's crazy, right? But like just knowing, like, oh, that's why community is so powerful. The right community.
Well, and talking and being safe and not judgment, and we don't
Being
gossip and
safe. Yeah,
those types of things, right? So
totally. Yeah.
it circles back to, for instance, um, going ahead. Okay, do you cover this when you're working with your clients and you're doing your courses and things like that? Do you cover with this? They're really not judging you. They're really not paying as much attention to you as you think they are, because I don't know how to tell people that, but it's like, I don't know if you get this. They don't fucking care.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
they're scrolling. They've gone, that was 10 things ago.
Yes. I mean, and to me, that's a little bit of the paradox, right? Because I tell people, be consistent, give value, give value. And
Mhm.
at the same time, don't overthink it. I tell my, when I do a group program and I put it where, and I'm not trying to pitch, but I'm telling this for a point. Like there's an accountability piece where we create content together.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Tell that one thing, go away, make that video, come back. You're next, because what I find is women, we've been conditioned to be perfect or whatever. And so it's like, be consistent, give value. Of course, the more you do it, the tighter you're going to get with it.
Yeah.
And I'll give another example. So I'm doing this book launch and I'm interviewing all the co-authors. And one of the co-authors in this group book happens to also be having her own book coming out. And she's like, it's shit, Elaine. I don't want anyone to read it. It's shit. Like, I'm not proud of it. So I showed her my first book.
Yeah.
And I said, there are 53 things wrong with this book. I
Yeah.
put the best stories in the back, blah, 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 blah. I said, but guess what? Not that many people have read it, but it got me booked to speak. It helped kids who were in trouble. I've sold 6,000 copies, like it's a
Amazing.
fancy business card and it gives you credibility. Now, do
Mhm.
I wish I'm not going to go redo it because I'm doing new books, but I said to her, I'm not going to say her name, but I said, sweetheart, don't worry. Not that many people will buy it to
Yeah.
support you, and then life happens and not that many people are going to read it. So sometimes it's like you have to get that first one out
Yeah. Yeah.
to get you to that other level.
Well, and the thing is, you'll never finish a book if you're trying to do it perfectly. It took
Oh
me
my God.
5 years. It took me
It
five
took
years
me
to write mine.
It took me
And
7. It's
and
this thin.
yeah, no, exactly. And it's funny. I mean, I do like my book, but I'd like to change 20% of it now,
Of course, right.
knowing what I know now.
Right.
But if I didn't do it and didn't put it out there, how would I?
Right.
Right? So do it imperfectly,
Yes. But
you
do
know,
it.
just do
Yeah.
it. Okay, we're gonna have to like wrap up a little bit
Wrap
here
up.
for a
Okay. Oh my
second.
God. I feel like I
Okay,
could talk to you all
I
day.
know what we do that. That's so fun. So fun. Okay, so let me ask you, is there anything that you want to share with our group that we haven't covered yet? I think we just like
I'd like to give a
they
little
need to
more.
know.
I want to give some more value. And I definitely want to come hang out more. I'm like, this is a cool group. I need to come
Yeah.
play.
Come play
So,
more.
I've talked about video, getting a video buddy, and I've talked about, speaking to grow your business. Now, here's the thing. As a stand-up comic, you're desperate for stage time because the way you get better as a comedian is you tell your jokes and your bits on stage. So you're always like, where I and your friends get tired of coming to your shows, right? And so if you are new at speaking or like, okay, I need to do this. I mean, obviously, I'm super happy to have a conversation, but I would say if you're terrified to speak, go find a Toastmasters group. They have them online and in person. And I just spoke for a friends group a couple of weeks ago, and I was moved to tears at the earnestness and support. And there were seasoned people and some really very
Brand new
beginning
babies.
speakers.
Yeah,
I
brand new
don't want,
babies.
yeah. But the intention and attention was so beautiful. And it's an international program. I don't get a kickback. It's run by volunteers. But when I was becoming a pro, I went to Toastmasters every week. It was my gym. And and this is one more thing. So if you're looking for stage time, it's a great place to start. Don't stay there too long, but you can also tell people like, hey, you have a Facebook group. I'm working on a new talk. Can I come talk to your group? I promise I'm not going to pitch or sell. I'm going to bring value. You can tell people I'm a great last minute podcast guest or speaker
Yeah.
too, which can feel scary, but the way you get better is by doing it. So, however, you can find some stage time, I highly recommend that.
Okay, so this is how in alignment we are right now. In the group, the Women in Business Networking Community Group, when we introduced you, oh, Elaine's going to be here, yada, yada, yada. We also extended an invitation to other women in the group. Come and share your brilliance. This is a conversation. I'm not on some podcast channel. I mean, did
Right.
I say it right? Podcast channel. I'm not, some professional interviewer or whatever. We're just trying to support each other because everybody's got a message.
Yeah.
Everybody. And so practice. And so oddly enough, I just literally approved an edit of an email inviting women in the group, come apply to be in a woohoo.
Oh my gosh.
And here you're telling them the same thing. Promise we did not sync
We
that.
did
It's
not.
just no,
Yeah, I haven't.
it's just true synchronicity,
We did
right?
not. Like, I haven't even gotten to see you because I was just literally like back to back for 3 weeks on the road with clients and da 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 da.
I
So
know.
yeah, and I think, can I just say one more thing? So
Say
we
5 more.
feel like, oh, I don't, my speech, I'm not a keynoter. We put all these things just like with the reels, but it's like, you know, you're going to do an intro, you're going to tell a story, make a point, and then you're going to have some kind of inspiring thing or not. Talking
Yeah.
with Sam. And here's the thing is Sam will make you great. A great interviewer makes you great. Their attention is on, I'm going to make you look great. When I was on the Hay House Radio with Debbie Ford, I was nervous. Do you know what I mean? She was
Yeah.
my mentor for 5 years. She was New York best-selling author 8 times. She'd been on Oprah. Even though I knew her intimately, she came to see me do comedy to be on Hay House Radio. And
Right.
she goes, look, I don't want you to gush over me. I want you to, because gushing can embarrass people, and she learned that from her work with Deepak Chopra. And she said, I just want you to relax because I'm going to make you look good because you're a great interviewer. I already know, and blah, blah, blah. And because I relaxed, I was able to be real and I actually got clients. But just being on Hay House with her was like, whoa, you know? And so,
Yeah.
yeah, do it. Even if you don't feel ready, go grab some
Start.
speaking opportunities.
Just start. And
Yeah.
yeah. So and that's it. Like I do a lot of podcasts and blogs, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
other people's.
Me too. It's a great
Um,
place to
it's
start.
a great place to start. And that's what they do. They interview. If you go to my media page on my website, you're gonna see I haven't even put up the last 5, right? Um, it's fun though. It's fun, you guys. It's having a conversation. It's having a conversation. So,
It's very fun.
and if you
And
want like specific help on, well, how do I really show up and do like what Elaine was saying? Like, how do I show up and tell a story about a client? That's her friggin' area of genius. So reach out to her and she'll sit there and go, tell me the story. Okay, that's a great one. That one's probably not going to pull what you want. That's
yeah.
right. Look at my
And
new
you can't,
tattoo.
it's hard to see. Oh, I love that. I can't.
My whole family has it. We all got it for Christmas. Sorry, it's a tree of life and the Celtic symbol for family. It's upside down, but
Oh my gosh. I
all
love
of us
it.
get it. My kids and my husband too.
I love it. I love the tree of life.
We love each other.
So, yeah, that's so cool.
Okay, last one thing. What do you have to say? One last thing, or are we done? Where are we?
I want you to celebrate this speeded up my learning. After you speak, podcast guest, do your first thing, whatever. I want you to write down, handwrite. I'm really proud of 3 things. Bam, bam, bam. It will speed up your learning tremendously.
So, ladies, I'm going to tell you something that Elaine modeled for you, and you probably noticed it, but she did a super big give. She made your time here high value. And that's kind of what like my workshops. It's a give. Obviously, it's also part of my marketing. Obviously, if you like what you learn and do, well, then you go, oh, how do I work with Sam? Right.
Right.
Or I like what she was doing here. I want more of that.
Right.
That's what it is. But no matter what, it's a give. It's not a sales pitch.
Yeah.
So Elaine, your time is so valuable and I'm so grateful. And I can't believe we just flew through 50 minutes.
I know.
I'm going to hold you responsible to this. Go back into the group and put all the ways people can contact you, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, and again, ladies, you don't have to be keynote speakers to be out there promoting your business.
Right.
People buy from people they like or people they respect or admire, right? And mostly people they identify with. So you just showing up authentically in your niche is going to get you business.
Yeah.
And I think I want to say this too. You and I are a lot. We're a lot.
Yes. We're a
And
lot. Yeah.
right? And some people they don't want to be around a lot. So
Yeah.
don't pretend you're big giant personalities if you're not either. Show up as you. People might go, "Oh, I love her calming vibe. Oh, I love that, expertise I just saw there." Am I
Yeah.
accurate? Am I giving good advice here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's some of us who are ambiverts and people laugh, but a lot of comedians are actually very shy and awkward. Like they can be really great on stage, and sometimes it's kind of depressing to hang out with them because you're just like, what is wrong?
Right, right. What? So, well, most of the women that I talk to, I used to have a question in my woohoo. I don't do it anymore. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Do you know that almost all of them said introvert and people don't know that?
Wow.
I really
Yeah.
need to protect my space, my energy,
You need to
socially.
go chillax and
I
yeah.
I am really good with my boundaries of I'm out, I gotta go. My energy's this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
So some
love it.
people get filled up and some people get drained. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna read my get us out of here statement. I love you. I'd like to hang out with you more, but I have a client.
No, me too. I have a client, but I'm gonna come hang out in the Facebook group and yeah, and I can't wait to be continued, my
Do
love.
that, and Faith is going to send you all the YouTubey stuff and all that stuff, so you can put it wherever you want.
Okay. I
Okay,
will.
here we
Okay.
go. So thanks for tuning in today. Make sure and hit the get notifications button in the group so you don't miss your opportunity to talk and to ask questions of our inspiring women in business. If you'd like to apply to be a speaker or a guest, by all means, do so. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay. And if you're interested in learning more about purposefully designing your life, like, others, then you can look for my link in comments as well. All right. Love you, girlfriend. Thank you again,
That was so fun.
Elaine. It was so fun. And see everybody next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.